Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe. Welcome to all back to this chapter 4, where King Somakantha is now leaving the city and he is retiring to the forest. This chapter is filled with emotion. The last chapter was filled with the dharma, what the next king Hemakantha is supposed to follow. Somakantha explained everything to his son regarding how he can be a role model to all his subjects, be a great king. And that applies, whatever he explains does apply to every common man. So one should listen to that to know how one can be a good in his life. It is not just about preaching the commandments, saying that you do this, you do that, all this kind of a thing. Everything, whatever he explains, has its own sense of science behind that, a sense of psychology in that. Please listen to this. Let's continue. The Sutta Muni explains when the ceremony began, the king honored the Brahmins by giving away jewels, pearls, coral, and numerous wonderful cows. To show his gratitude, he also gave elephants, horses, gold, and fine clothes. These clothes came from various regions and were woven with pure gold thread. To the other kings, queens, and the village leaders, he gave a considerable amount of clothes of very variety of colors. Now, giving it to other kings and queens, village leaders does have a sense even today. But why to the Brahmins? It's because those are people who are involved in gaining the knowledge. They don't have their own source of income. They're always involved in gaining the knowledge with the intention to maintain the knowledge and spread it to the people who are interested in that. And they need to be taken care of by the king. That's why king give them lots of gifts. But what they will do with those gifts will be taken by somebody else in exchange for money, and that money will be used for the livelihood of those people. To his dependents and those of good character, he gave according to what they deserve. Then to his ministers, he gave large amounts of gold and authority over many villages. After he gave away a portion of his immense wealth in charity, feeling grief and pain and exceedingly impure, the king left for the forest. Once the king had departed, the great cry of distress arose among the people. Everyone instantly abandoned their duties. This is the love of his subjects towards their king. All of them, including his ministers, wife, son, and friends, followed the king. When he left the kingdom, he stumbled and fell on the ground. Naturally, he was taking care of this kingdom all these years, and now he's supposed to leave it forever. There is no possibility of him coming back. He then got up, tried to run away from them, and began to cry. The king had only gone 2 miles from the city, but became very tired. He was already having the leprosy and he was weak. The distressed ministers and townspeople, people of the town, caught up and surrounded him, taking shelter by a nearby lake of cool water surrounded by many trees. The king spoke to all the ministers, town people, the people of the town, and his kinsmen. King Somakantha said, please forgive all the offenses I have committed against you during my long reign. Who knows? He would have done all good things for his subjects. But for some reason, some of them would have a bad feelings about their king. In case, if any of my deeds have brought bad feelings to you, please pardon me, please forgive me. With all sincerity, I offer my deepest respects. Have compassion on my son and on myself too, who has become this way, became a, all this happened because of the fate. Please do not lose affection for me. Have the love for me. Everyone who has come, including the women and elderly, must go back to the city now. You are now protected by my son, so you will be free from all worries. All of you bid me farewell, for I am resolved to go to the forest. When you have gone back to the city, I will feel much better. If all of them follow the king to the forest, then who will going to remain in the city? The city is made of people. It is the city gains its name, gains its fame, gains its status because of the people who are living there along with their king. So you all need to go back. All of you kindly do this great favor for me. Although I want to leave this world behind and I am in great distress, I am unable to speak harshly to you. I have acquired this karmic reaction due to misdeeds from other lifetimes, probably from my past lives. So it is for the benefit of good people such as yourselves that I have separated myself from the kingdom. Since I am oozing with leprosy, what else can I do? Each person experiences his own fate. This is the time for me to leave this world. So let me just at least leave for the forest. The sutta continues. Sutta here is a person who is telling these stories to the Shaunakas. After they had heard his wishes, the king's friends were speechless. Some who were very distressed struck their heads with the palms of their hands. They learned consoled each other by relaying stories of previous great kings who all at one point of their time, all those great kings have retired to the forest to renounce the life and think in terms of the spiritual aspects. Others, having realized the situation at hand, king is stuck with the leprosy. He cannot live in the kingdom when people may not like even to come nearer to him. So, having realized the situation at hand, were like yogis, having analyzed the true nature of the world. Yeah, this world is like that. When you're born, people are fond of you. Whereas you grow up, people feel so proud of you. As you become a great king or a great queen, people feel so proud about you. But a day will come when they need to retire to the forest because their end will also come soon. Then some who were bold, having calmly held back their own sorrow, spoke to the distressed Somakantha, who was now longing to leave for the forest. They said, because you have nourished and protected us, it's not right that you should leave. In the same way that cold does not leave water, or heat and light from the sun, like the sun is always associated with heat and light, like water is associated always with the cold. As a king, you should always be associated with us. Nor as a ocean does not abandon its shores. How can we enter the city without you, our beloved king? Indeed, like the starry heavens without the moon, this city will have no splendor without you. How the night sky will be beautiful without the moon. So, likewise, without you, this kingdom will not be beautiful. O conqueror of enemies, we will go with you unto two or three sacred spots. Your bodily appearance, which was splendid before, will be splendid again by visiting such places. With the sages chanting mantras and with great joy, we shall again enter the city together, which is decorated with banners. Here are people who are making an advice. Why you want to leave alone to the forest? We will also come along with you. We will visit some sacred places. Sacred places are the places which have medicinal trees and medicinal ponds. And by taking a dip in them, who knows, your leprosy may be cured. Or there may be knowledge, people with knowledge of medicine who might help you to get cured. We will try all those aspects. And once you're cured, we all together can come back to the city. Sutta explains. King Somakantha, although bowing down to them after having heard their speech, was irritated and anxious and said repeatedly, No, no. Then Hemakantha, accompanied by the ministers, spoke to the beloved king with appropriate decorum, along with feelings of compassion and affection. Hemakantha, his son, said, I cannot bear to go and rule the kingdom leaving without you. How can I tolerate be separated from you? Never having experienced this kind of a situation before, because you are always with me. Finally, the king said, it was for this very reason that I instructed you in the Shastras, which contain so much of knowledge about good conduct and politics. I had already explained you all those things. Don't be useless. Don't make all those explanations go useless. Once upon a time, Rama, having left his kingdom in the Ramayana, went to the forest with his younger brother Lakshmana and Sita, his wife. Rama causelessly abandoned Sita in there. This is actually another story. So he abandoned, it was another story wherein Sita was abandoned and she was sent along with Lakshmana. Of course, I don't know why exactly they brought in this particular story. Actually, the right story that would have been brought at this particular point of time is in Ramayana, where King Rama had left his kingdom because his father has vowed to his wife. That means the stepmother of Rama, saying that the Rama will be sent to Vanavasa, a forest dwelling, whereas the son of Kaikeyi will be crowned. So, approving his father's words, King Rama left for the forest. That was a great story. In fact, later there was another story wherein Sita was abandoned, but basically it was not abandonment. It was mistook for Rama abandoning Sita in there. It's basically a play in which Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, it was almost reaching to the end of their life. They need to leave this world and return back to their real home. We all live in this world for a purpose. And when the purpose gets over, we just simply return back to our real world. This is again another aspect of the philosophy. Death is an aspect of leaving back to your real world. Birth is an aspect from where you are visiting this world for a specific reason. And once the reason gets over, you leave this world and return back to your home. Just like the way you visit a resort and come back to your real home. So, in that way, even in Ramayana, Sita first tells Rama that it's a time for us to go back to our home. And first, Sita leaves, and they make a drama, and Sita was abandoned by Rama, and Sita leaves to the forest. And then she left this world. And then finally, one day, even Lakshmana was also rejected by Rama, and Lakshmana leaves this world to go back to his home. And as Lakshmana and Sita are waiting in the home, Rama, along with Bharata and Shatrughna, also leave this world. So everyone, one day or the other, whether it is Rama or Krishna, everyone, all the great heroes have left this world. So likewise, even I need to leave this world. Therefore, at my command, Hemakantha, go quickly to the city with my 3 ministers and rule the kingdom which I have entrusted to you. Just like a wise man who is intent upon remaining fixed on the supreme self. But when I left for the forest, I will always think of you. I will always be a good well wisher for you. When good fortune has arisen again, who knows? Some good fortune might arise again through the power of fate. I may again, if I become all right, if I'm cured with leprosy, who knows about the miracles? And if such a miracle happens, I'll certainly come back. I will come home. The injunctions of the Shastras will certainly continue to operate if you act in accordance with my command, which I explained in the previous chapter. If you go according to my command, then you will be a great king, surpassing even my name. But if you accompany me, this will not be so. You are abandoning your kingdom. Thereby, your kingdom will go down to dogs. Therefore, go back to the city so that I can leave to the forest peacefully. Thus, Suta ends the story, explaining that all the people of town, ministers, and his son were feeling very depressed, naturally. But when the king decided to depart, They offered obeisance to him. They saluted him after having praised the king with praise and circumambulating. That's usually the way of paying salute. To circumambulate him, he dismissed them to return home. The proud Hemakantha, holding a parasol and banner, which are the symbols of a king, then assembled his great army with foot soldiers, chariots, horses, and elephants, and then he went back to the city. Thus ends the fourth chapter of Upasana Khanda for the glorious Ganesha Purana, called Returning Back to the City, as the king leaves, as the king Somakantha leaves. It's naturally a very emotional situation, but in giving ourselves into that emotion, one cannot abandon the duty. The seniors, the parents, or whoever is old is supposed to leave this world. But because someone has died, or because someone has retired from their public life, because of that reason, youngsters cannot lose the heart. This life always see like a circle as the older people leave their powers, leave their seats, leave their duties, leave this world. The next generation takes the same, occupy the same position. They continue, and the world continues, and we should ensure that the world continue following the words of the people who are leaving this world. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmir Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.